Have you ever felt that something was off right from the beginning, but you just could not quite place what it was? That is the exact sentiment many people are now expressing when they look back on Meghan Markle's entrance into the royal family. To be honest, something about it never felt entirely right to a lot of people. It is like watching a movie for the second time and suddenly noticing all the red flags you missed during the first viewing. This story is not just about a Hollywood actress innocently falling in love with a prince and living a fairy tale. It is starting to look more like a slow-burning thriller where every action may have held a deeper meaning. And now, a claim of seismic proportions is making the rounds. Reportedly, Prince William told close friends that Meghan Markle had wanted him. Not Prince Harry, but him. Allegedly, he confided to his trusted inner circle, saying, "She wanted to sleep with me." That statement was not made in public or during an interview. It was said behind closed doors, in confidence, and now it is out. Let that sink in for a moment, because if it is true, it changes everything. It is no longer just gossip. This revelation could shift the already strained dynamic between the royal brothers into something deeply personal. Forget politics, royal protocols, or the pressures of the media. This is about loyalty, betrayal, and blurred lines at the heart of the royal rift. The most unsettling part? Some people are saying the signs were there all along. Before Meghan ever met Harry, she was reportedly already immersed in royal culture. Friends from her past say she was not simply curious about the monarchy, she was obsessed. She understood the royal hierarchy, the rules, who was next in line, and most importantly, who held the true power. At the top of that structure was Prince William, the golden boy, the future king, intelligent, respected, and refined by a lifetime in the spotlight. According to people who knew her at the time, Meghan admired those qualities. But admiration is one thing, strategic interest is another. Sources are now murmuring that long before Harry entered the picture, Meghan may have set her sights on William. This was not necessarily out of desperation or creepiness, but perhaps a calculated move. William checked every box: powerful, stable, respected, and royalty bound. If that is true, then her eventual romance with Harry might not have been mere coincidence. It could have been a plan B. Imagine how that would have felt within the palace walls. Let us say William picked up on it, perhaps not instantly, but gradually. A strange feeling during a conversation, a prolonged look, or a compliment that felt inappropriate. Nothing overt, but enough to cause discomfort. Enough to compel William to say something to Kate. And if Kate sensed it too, that could explain her aloofness, her cold demeanor, and the visible tension at public events. This was not simply about Meghan being American or breaking royal protocol. It might have been something much more personal. Now, imagine being in Prince Harry's shoes. Your older brother, the one you always admired, tells you that your wife might have been interested in him before she even met you. How do you process something like that? Do you dismiss it as jealousy or paranoia? Or do you begin retracing the timeline, second-guessing everything that happened in the early days? This kind of revelation can shatter a family, and maybe that is exactly what it did. Following that alleged claim, things reportedly deteriorated quickly. William and Harry, who were already experiencing friction, stopped speaking. Meghan and Kate became strangers under the same royal roof. Public appearances became tense and carefully analyzed. Every glance, every gesture was picked apart by the tabloids. Behind the scenes, tempers flared. There were probably shouting matches and even ultimatums, but not a word was spoken publicly. The palace's unwritten rule has always been never complain, never explain. But some things are too monumental to be ignored. If William truly said those words, it suggests he had reached his breaking point. He may have grown weary of putting on a pleasant face while suspecting that something inappropriate had occurred right under his nose. And now that these details are leaking, it feels like the dam has burst. Yet amidst the chaos, Meghan has said nothing. Not yet, anyway. And her silence is deafening, because everyone familiar with Meghan knows that she does not shy away from conflict. She stood firm against the press, against the monarchy, and against the entire British media establishment. She is not someone who lets accusations go unanswered. So her silence, it is either strategic or telling. It has led people to question everything. Was Meghan's entry into the royal family really about love? Or was it a carefully executed plan that simply did not go as intended? Did she truly fall for Harry, or did she settle? As the story deepens, so does the speculation. Behind the palace's polished exterior, the reality was far messier. Royal life may come with crowns and titles, but underneath it all, it is just another family grappling with ego, mistrust, and complicated relationships. Palace staff staff who were around during those early royal engagements began to notice something strange. Meghan was charming, too charming, some said. Her energy around William stood out. She smiled more, leaned in closer, and made prolonged eye contact. Initially, it could have been seen as confidence, maybe even nerves. But over time, it began to make people uneasy. One aide described it as a performance that never turned off. Meghan was always on, whether around Harry, William, or even guests at formal dinners. And Kate? She noticed. She did not gossip or act out, but she pulled away. The friendly gestures vanished. The private conversations ended. A cold, professional distance took their place. Kate, once the epitome of poise, began keeping Meghan at arm's length, and it did not go unnoticed by the press. Speculation about a feud between the duchesses exploded, but no one understood just how deep the tension ran. William was caught in the middle. As the future king, under constant scrutiny, he had to manage the mental chaos. How do you respond when your brother's wife is setting off alarm bells in your mind? Eventually, he snapped, or so the rumors say. That bold statement, "She wanted to sleep with me," was not just personal, it was explosive, and it likely tore open every unresolved issue between the brothers. Harry, known for being fiercely loyal to Meghan, stopped trying to mend the rift. He distanced himself. Suddenly, the royal exit no longer looked like a graceful departure. It looked like a desperate escape. According to insiders, conversations became brief, meetings turned icy, and even eye contact between the brothers vanished. Meghan and Kate became like statues in the same room. No warmth, no connection. Everyone walked on eggshells. It was a family under pressure, pretending for the cameras while crumbling behind the scenes. And the public. They sensed something was wrong. The media tried to blame it on jealousy, on cultural differences, on protocol, but this latest revelation could have been the real cause all along. Some say Meghan's entire involvement with the royal family was orchestrated, that she had studied it, prepared for it, and executed a plan, that she initially saw William as the ideal match, and when that failed, pivoted to Harry. Others argue the opposite. They say she was simply a confident woman unprepared for the cold traditions of the monarchy, that she never chased power, only refused to shrink herself to fit outdated roles. Regardless of where the truth lies, the damage has been done. The rumor that Meghan once had eyes for William has created a fracture that cannot be quietly mended. Kate, through it all, remained silent. She never aired her grievances, but perhaps she never needed to. Sometimes silence speaks the loudest. And now, with this latest controversy, the royal family stands at another crossroads. The fairy tale is over. What remains is a public hungry for the truth, and a monarchy forever changed by one whispered sentence, "She wanted to sleep with me." And with that, the royal family may never be the same again. Have you ever felt that something was off right from the beginning, but you just could not quite place what it was? That is the exact sentiment many people are now expressing when they look back on Meghan Markle's entrance into the royal family. To be honest, something about it never felt entirely right to a lot of people. It is like watching a movie for the second time and suddenly noticing all the red flags you missed during the first viewing. This story is not just about a Hollywood actress innocently falling in love with a prince and living a fairy tale. It is starting to look more like a slow-burning thriller where every action may have held a deeper meaning. And now, a claim of seismic proportions is making the rounds. Reportedly, Prince William told close friends that Meghan Markle had wanted him. Not Prince Harry, but him. Allegedly, he confided to his trusted inner circle, saying, "She wanted to sleep with me." That statement was not made in public or during an interview. It was said behind closed doors, in confidence. And now it is out. Let that sink in for a moment, because if it is true, it